Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Hi, folks. Welcome back. And those of you that are new, welcome. Well, let's take a look. What's going on Twitter and some of my feeds. These popped up. You thought might be interesting. The question we need to ask Durham to answer, is who told Joseph Mitzeff to lie to Papadopoulos? Now, you're going to see this is the feed from George Papadopoulos. You remember he was charged for lying, and it's an interesting exchange. Let's take a listen.
Papadopoulos joins the Trump campaign. You got all these people all around the world starting to swirl around him. Names like Halper, Downer, Mifsud, Thompson, meeting in Rome, London, all kinds of places. The FBI even sent a lady posing as somebody else, went by the name Azra Turk, even dispatched her to London to spy on Mr. Papadopoulos. In one of these meetings, Mr. Papadopoulos is talking to a foreign diplomat, and he tells the diplomat, Russians have dirt on Clinton. That diplomat then contacts the FBI, and the FBI opens an investigation based on that fact. You point this out on page 1 of the report. July 31st, 2016, they open the investigation based on that piece of information. Diplomat tells Papadopoulos, Papadopoulos tells the diplomat, Russians have dirt on Clinton. Diplomat tells the FBI. What I'm wondering is, who told Papadopoulos? How'd he find out?
I can't get into the evidentiary
Yes, you can, because you wrote about it. You gave us the answer. Page 192 of the report, you tell us who told him. Joseph Mifsud. Joseph Mifsud's a guy who told Papadopoulos. The mysterious professor who lives in Rome and London, teaches in 2 different universities. This is the guy who told Papadopoulos. He's the guy who starts it all. And when the FBI interviews him, he lies 3 times. And yet you don't charge him with a crime. You charge Rick Gates for false statements. You charge Paul Manafort for false statements. You charge Michael Cohen with false statements. You charge Michael Flynn, a 3-star general, with false statements. But the guy who puts the country through this whole saga, starts it all for 3 years we've lived this now, he lies, and you guys don't charge him. And I'm curious as to why.
Well, we can't get into it, and it's obvious, I think, that we can't get into charging decisions.
When the FBI interviewed him in February, FBI interviews him in February, when the special counsel's office interviewed Mifsud, did he lie to you guys too?
Can't get into that.
Did you interview
This is interesting. It's almost done, but this is fascinating stuff.
Mifsud?
Can't get into that.
Is Mifsud Western intelligence or Russian intelligence?
Can't get into that.
A lot of things you can't get into. What's interesting, you can charge 13 Russian.
Yeah, that's just a little small part. Let's continue on and see what else is going on Twitter. Oh, here's a really good one by The Rabbit Hole. You're a white supremacist. Prove it or shut up. That's what I've been saying for a few years, and that's what everybody else should say. It's like saying, well, prove you're not a racist. Well, prove that I am. Shut the F up. It should not be socially acceptable to call someone anything supremacist unless they are unequivocal evidence for such a claim. Yeah, I agree. Here's another beauty. Remember this. This is supposedly, I'll stop the video here. This is supposedly a young lady, 6 months pregnant, by the way, a nurse in New York City. I guess they have bike racks where you can use your phone to purchase time to use a bike, and you use the code, the QR code or whatever it is to pay for the bike, and then you use it in the city, and then you deposit it in another place, and you pay for the time that you have it. Well, she went to get her bike, and these 3 or 4 young black men, probably teenagers, early 20s maybe, who knows, went up and tried to take her bike. Well, they were telling everybody around here that she's like a Karen, and this is really the black kid's bike, and you're trying to steal it. And then somebody came out with, this is unacceptable. A white woman was caught on camera attempting to steal a city bike from a young black man in New York City. There's 5 or 6 of them around. Let me see if I get this right now. Look how small she is. 6 months pregnant, small in stature, by herself, was going to take on 5 or 6 young black males and take their bike. She has grossly tried to weaponize her tears to paint this man as a threat. This is exactly the type of behavior that has endangered so many black men in the past. Hey, Ben Crumb, you were a total piece of... Well, guess what happened? Now that we know that black guys were stealing the bike she paid for, ask yourself, why did anyone believe a 6 months pregnant white woman would try to rob 5 black men of a rental bike after a 12-hour shift she did at the hospital? Are they that dumb, or they think you're that dumb? No, you're that dumb, or at least the progressive Democrats are. And to make it even worse, because of all the publicity, people in her building now think she's a monster. She lost her job. I don't know if it's permanent or not. It's amazing to me. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. Since the filming of this video, receipts have been made available to prove that the woman in question was, in fact, the person who paid to unlock and use the bike. Ruined her life. Ruined her life. Here's another beauty. Ha ha ha, what the hell? Sam Brighton, remember him? Has been arrested as a fugitive from justice. Ex-Biden nuclear official Sam Brighton arrested as a fugitive from justice. You remember him? He was the trans individual that was hired to help dispose of radioactive material. That was his job. And he went all over the place, represented this government and the Biden administration, totally dressed as a woman. I don't know what his problem is. He's been caught several times taking luggage from airports and using the clothes and wearing it's like a bad movie. He's finally been arrested because he was a fugitive. People that voted for Biden, this is what you voted for. I forget the guy's name in the back there. He's a big shot Democrat. It's amazing to me. And he's just standing there. I'd love to know what goes going through his head during this picture. And here we got one here. There's the new senator. You see him in the back there. Senator Fetterman. And there's Bernie Sanders, another sordid moron, lefty senators. And, you know, show some respect for the chamber and the position you hold. He's a sitting U.S. senator. Look, he's got shorts on and a hoodie. I love this. When you show up for Casual Friday, but it's only Thursday. Show some respect. They have none. They have none. I'm even respectful and call him Senator Fetterman because that's what he is, because I respect the office. Not necessarily the individual, but the office he holds. I mean, everybody in the Senate guy going, what the hell's wrong with this guy? There's a video I did earlier where he was trying to chastise a bank executive in a bank that failed, and it was painful to listen to. Democrats, this is what you voted for. And they have to keep him and Dianne Feinstein, who's barely capable of even holding a thought, because it's 50-50 in the Senate, and they'll do anything and use anybody, even somebody with disability, to keep in power. I love this. Is this a Saturday Night Live skit? Tell me it's a Saturday Night Live skit. And I love this one. Instead of worrying about how this guy spends his money, me and Elon Musk, you should worry about how they're spending yours. Exactly right. And money we don't even have yet. Now, this is a very interesting question. It's a picture of the late Stephen Hawking. Brilliant guy. Why in the hell is Stephen Hawking on Jeffrey Epstein's island? That's a good question. And there's the picture. I'm assuming it's correct, and that's where he is. There's just... Truth is stranger than fiction, folks. Here's another one by ALX. This by far is my favorite thing ever printed in the Washington Post. I love this. Democracy dies in darkness. What a bunch of hypocrites. Tesla did not respond to repeated requests for comment. It must have been a story they were doing. In response to emails seeking comment, Elon Musk replied, "Give my regards to your puppet master." I love this guy. He just doesn't he doesn't care. Good for him. Good for him. He said the other day concerning the platform Twitter and the free speech issue and how he might lose advertisers and all that. And he said, listen, If I lose some advertisers and lose some ad revenue because of my free speech position, then so be it. Good for you, Elon. Good for you. And this is the Hypocrite of the Year award. Look at this moron. Adam Shifty Shift, a.k.a., as Trump calls him, Pencil Neck. Which member of Congress submitted that Adam Schiff be expelled? I'd like to donate to their next campaign. Well, here it is, breaking news. A MAGA Republican member of Congress just filed a motion to expel me from the U.S. House of Representatives. I don't know, I always got to put MAGA in there. I love that. I stood up to Donald Trump and held extreme MAGA forces accountable. Now they want payback. They'll go after anyone who defends the rule of law. Are you kidding me? You piece of... It's amazing to me. All the lies you told. We have the evidence here that Donald Trump colluded with Russia to help win the election. Well, we found out lately that was total bull. It's amazing to me. He lied through his teeth. Defend the rule of law. My God, man. Here's the deal. He did all that and basically was one of the main proponents of the two ridiculous impeachments because this to make me swear, this a-hole wanted to fill Kamala Harris's Senate seat because she had to give it up to be vice president. And when they passed over him because he sucks, he got mad. So he did all of this for nothing. Of course, now he's back in because Dianne Feinstein her term is up the end of next year, and he's one of the candidates. There's 3 of them on the Democrat side. It's amazing to me. Amazing to me. And this is from Michael Schellenberger, if you remember him. Him and Taibbi were giving questions and answers to a congressional hearing, and they want him to divulge. The Democrats wanted him to divulge his sources in the Twitter files. Schellenberger and Taibbi were one of the main contributors to the Twitter files. Remember them a few weeks ago. The FBI and Democrats say the whistleblowers who testified today are a threat to national security, but they're not. Rather, they're honorable public servants who are being attacked for exposing abuse of power related to January 6th. Why the FBI and Democrats are attacking the whistleblowers? What was that one exchange with, what's her name from Florida there? She used to be head of the DNC, Wasserman Schultz. That the agency, meaning the FBI, said they ruled, in their opinion, these people aren't whistleblowers, so that means they're not, but they're whistleblowers on the FBI, and the FBI gets to determine whether they're whistleblowers or not. This is nuts. This is nuts. FBI says it won't release January 6th surveillance video because it would show too many undercover government agents and informants. So that means that Speaker McCarthy didn't get all of the January 6th surveillance video when he gave it to Tucker Carlson, which was the beginning event of Tucker Carlson on Fox. That's interesting. Isn't that interesting? It's amazing to me. So now they're attacking the whistleblowers because they're being exposed. But here's the thing. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to these people that should be in jail? Now we have on Twitter from Tim Pool. This is concerning Daniel Penny. That's the veteran that stopped that crazy guy from hurting other people on a subway car, who wasn't charged. And later, after all kinds of protests and pressure, District Attorney Bragg, remember that piece of garbage, the one that prosecuted Trump? He decided to charge him with manslaughter. But that's not enough. The left, progressive Democrats, are screaming they want everyone on that train to be arrested. Everyone was on that train, read one protester sign, love and protect your fellow man, but don't move here if you're scared of your neighbors. If you watch someone choke, attack, kill another, you are complicit, you are responsible. The guy's a hero, and everybody Everybody said so that was on the train. Unbelievable. Around 10, this is from the New York Times, so take it with a grain of salt, wipe your behind with it. Around 10 passengers observed as Daniel Penny choked Jordan nearly to death on the subway. Lie. Prompting conversation about what moral duty onlookers had to step in, even though New York law doesn't require bystanders to act when sometimes blah, 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 blah. Here's another beauty. This piece of garbage, Dan Goldman, Democrat, Congressman Dan Goldman claims the FBI whistleblowers were bought and paid for by Kash Patel. He used to work for President Trump, and he's still one of the main focuses as far as publicity goes. He's out there in the public, and Kash is a sharp guy. They were bought and paid for, so they're tarnished. The reality is the witnesses had their lives destroyed, and Patel set up a fund for them so they could feed their families after the FBI suspended them without pay and left them basically homeless. One guy testified that he had to borrow winter coats for his children because they gave him a job across the country in the FBI. When he got there, they took away everything and fired him on the spot. Whistleblowers are supposed to have protections. So the FBI says, well, he wasn't really a whistleblower. So the agency that he's blowing the whistle on gets to determine if he's a whistleblower or not under the law. You got to love it, man. You got to love it. Look at this piece of garbage. Now let's take a look at this piece of crap, and this will be the end here. Representative Dan Goldman, the guy we just talked about. He tweeted, Kash Patel is a political hack for Donald Trump, under investigation by the DOJ for leaking classified information. Everybody's under investigation. There's nothing to it. Today's weaponizations, witnesses were bought and paid for by Patel. See, they have to discredit these people because they're all telling the truth. This committee is simply an arm of Trump's criminal defense team. Listen to what this guy says to the whistleblower.
Mr. Boyle, do you know who Kash Patel is?
I do.
Have you received any money from Kash Patel or his organization?
I have.
Mr. Friend, what about you? Do you know Kash Patel as well?
Yes.
And did you receive any money from Kash Patel?
Yes, he gave me a donation last November.
A donation?
Yes.
Are you a charitable organization?
I was an unpaid, indefinitely suspended man trying to feed his family, and he reached out to me and said he wanted to give me a donation.
Mr. Boyle, do you know who Kash Patel?
Yeah, the poor guys, that's why they do it, because they want to send out a signal to other whistleblowers. If you blow the whistle on the FBI, we're going to ruin your life. We're going to destroy you financially, hopefully physically, and definitely mentally. We will make you a pariah and no one will ever hire you again. Even though you were more than good enough to pass a background check to work for the FBI and took an oath to his country, since you told we were doing that was unlawful and immoral, we're going to make sure you and your family starves to death. Isn't that nice? Well, we'll do one more. Breitbart News. Chris Christie will announce his 2024 White House candidacy in the coming days. A New Hampshire news radio host reported. Chris Christie will announce his 2024 White House candidacy in the coming days, according to a New Hampshire news radio host. My understanding is next week or the week after, Ron DeSantis is also announcing. The more the merrier, I say. Bring him on. Chris Christie has no political future, so he could care less. But Ron DeSantis does, and he has a very bright political future. If he announces that he's running for president, and President Trump and Governor DeSantis get into a pissing match between the two of them, it will destroy DeSantis' future in politics, and it will hurt President Trump at the same time. A lose-lose situation. Well, there you have it, folks. There's some stuff coming from Twitter. I hope you enjoyed it. I just did this for the heck of it to see anybody would like to see what's going on in the Twitter world. And until next time, goodbye and good luck.